What is going on, guys? And today we're in Destiny and we're going to be checking out the gun that everyone already made a review for, but me. But anyways, we're still going to be doing it just because I really love this gun and the way it looks and what it is so different and so crazy that I want to talk about it. And I want to tell you guys if it is worthy to acquire. Now, in a nutshell, this gun is freaking hard to acquire. It's not just a random drop, it's actually a series of events that you have to do. Now you would maybe think that'd be easier just because that series of events could be easier to obtain, but no, there's still a chance thing for it to happen, and that is the form of an Elder Cipher. So maybe getting a little ahead of myself, this gun is given to you by completing one of the Elder Cipher bounties. This is one of the 3 weapons you can actually pick. This is by far the best of the 3. Now, just on the topics of aesthetics, this thing looks beautiful. And it's also, all the guns from the Elder Ciphers are what the Fallen use. And this one by far, to me, looks the absolute coolest. It's got fire coming out of the barrel, just like Thorn has its mist out of the barrel, all that good shit. Oh, so that's bad juju. Wrong gun. Anyways, nevertheless, it's amazing. Now, another reason why I wanted to make this guide slash review or rundown, whatever you want to call it, essentially is because this gun is by far the most different shotgun you're ever going to find. It's actually, it fires in a 3-round burst, kind of like a fusion rifle, and the way its range drop-off happens is really strange, and also really good if you want to get a ranged type of shotgun. But in the same sense, again, one thing I want to make clear right now, because this is just kind of covering my opinions on the gun. I love it to death. It is probably one of my favorite exotics in the game. It looks so damn beautiful, and it is amazing in combat. But is it worth the factor that it's going to eat up an exotic slot? To me, I say no. That may be surprising to some people, but to me, it doesn't deserve the consumption of an exotic slot, just because of the sheer fact that a good PvE shotgun like the Hardluck or the Dry Rot can dish out, I think, more damage than this thing, and on top of that can reload faster, and also the way the spread works is also a lot easier. Basically, this gun just takes a lot more for you to wrap your head around and how to play with, opposed to a shotgun which is obvious to kind of use. You know, you kind of just get close, pull the trigger, bam. This one you kind of have to maintenance a little bit of recoil, and also the way it fires and the range on it is what's weird, because of the fact that it does grant you range, it evolves this weird, you have to know when you're close enough, or like how far away you are, and that kind of thing. So yeah. Alright guys, so I want to do something a little bit different for this guy. It's something you did not see in the others that are, the many others that are talking about this weapon, because again, it's one of the best out of the 3 that are available to you. People made a lot of videos about him, but anyways, I'm gonna be doing this little segment where I tell you guys the lore of the weapon itself, and by that I mean reading the Grimoire card that talks about it. And I know that's not something a lot of people are gonna do, because the Grimoire is behind a couple, you know, pillars, which is it's not fun to climb. But anyways, yeah, let's get into it. Lord of Wolves, by this right alone do I rule. Jolyon was a crow. He'd seen much, more than most. He held the enemy's greatest weapon, remembered its burn, then began tinkering. He liked things, liked how they worked, found happiness in finding new avenues through which a thing could function, not to alter its purpose, but simply refine it. The weapon delivers impact with incredible force, spread over a range to increase the area of influence. But what if that force was brought to a focus in a direct burst? A seasoned marksman with a steady, strong hand could deliver a burn that served less to herd and more to punish. The feral ones deserve nothing less. The wolves would have a new master, and that master was fire. Hey, me back, Frost. Yeah, that was the person. Anyways, that was me, just, you know, serious and trying to read it as, you know, a good reader. Anyways, that sounded like some crazy shit. I'm not sure if that was a Guardian who actually acquired the weapon and shifted it to kind of fit the Guardian's hand and all that kind of stuff, or if that was a Fallen who just liked to tinker with things and then made it be able to have this bonus on it, because the one that we have is not the same as the ones that they have. But that's still really fucking cool. I should have done that with the Drake's Promise video. That would have been like fucking cool as shit. Sorry, I'm super annoyed that I wasn't doing that. That's awesome. Anyways, so yeah, that's really cool. Anyways, next segment is we're gonna actually go through the stats of the weapon, and I'm gonna tell you guys really quickly how to actually build the weapon itself. So yeah. Alright guys, so if you notice there's an audio change, that's because me and editing is gonna be doing this, and I'm exporting this on Audacity, sorry. I'm gonna be doing it right off my editing software, so it's gonna be like a little bit less of a refined commentary, but anyways, boom. Alright guys, so the Lord of Wolves stats. Now, everything that you're seeing on screen, the only thing that's kind of viable is the impact. Everything else doesn't really make sense. For instance, the rate of fire is garbage, but yet it doesn't really matter because this thing fires in bursts. Essentially, it fires 4 high impact shots in a row. I said 3 once, it was not, it's 4. Anyways, but yeah, and the time in between the shots isn't even that much either. So it's that fire rate should be a lot more than that. But anyways, the impact is dead on, does a ton of impact damage. If you're able to get right up on an enemy's face, like as close as you possibly can, you can do up to almost 1,000 damage. I think it's like 908. The range on it is also a phantom thing. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later because the range is weird the way it acts. It's basically like a complete another drop-off point, but up to that drop-off point, there's a lot of give, if that makes any sense. Anyways, also, the stability is very touchy because that is the thing that's going to be jumped around with all the perks that are involved in the actual perk skill tree. So for instance, the range will differ, same with the stability. Those are the two things that are going to be constantly in battle when choosing perks. And the amount of magazine you have is actually 30 bullets in the mag. That's without any sort of increase. If you guys are seeing that that increase in magazine size, that's just because I have the more ammo perk on, just to show you guys the base stats, stats, not magazine. So the magazine is the only thing that's different in that image. Anyways, so let's get on to the actual scopes that are in the gun. We have smart drift control, we have soft ballistics, and linear compensator. Blah. I had trouble saying that a few times. Anyways, so I choose this one because it boosts range the max point on this weapon, but it also gives you a massive reduction to stability. Remember that thing I was talking about, how it's constantly battling? That's one of the reasons why. And I'll explain why I use that barrel in a second. But anyways, we have our actual first perk, which is our most perk that I wouldn't really prefer on this, but it's hip fire. It's good for any shotguns, but there's some better options out there. Essentially, it just gives you more accuracy when aiming down sights, and also lowers the recoil, I find. But anyways, then we have reload speed increase, we have magazine side increase, and then we have perfect balance, which is what I actually use because it kind of redoes our pick for scoping. So we picked that one scope, or that barrel, that made us have less stability, so we'd counter that by adding perfect balance to give us a decent stability to the point where we can still get most of our shots on a headshot, but the bullet pattern is kind of weird. We'll go over that when we're breaking down the range factor and all that kind of stuff. On the gun, but yeah, it's just a whole weird thing. But anyways, then the final perk, which is the exotic perk, is called the Devil's Touch, which is actually going to be boosted in the next 2.0 update for the game, which comes available right around the Taken King if you are purchasing that. But anyways, what it does is it grants recovery to everyone in your fire team. The range on this is about this. Probably showing you guys some gameplay of how much that activates. It's very weird. The range really requires you to get close to somebody, and I really doubt your friends are going to want to bunch up towards you, so you're probably going to have to, like, you know, just keep close to your friend, and then he'll be like, holy shit, I'm not dying. It's like, yeah, it's because of me. So yeah, that's how I would suggest using this to the best of its ability. But yeah, guys, essentially that's what that perk does, and it's going to be significantly boosted in the next update for the game, or not the next, but the next big update for Destiny. That is going to become God tier, I would imagine, like just ridiculous recovery, especially if you're already spec for recovery. Damn, that's going to be beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, so next up, let's break down the range factor and just go into a little bit more in depth about that, because if you're going to use this gun properly, you're going to need to know how to use the range, or how the range works, and what you're like, how much give you have, essentially. That's the best thing you gotta know for any range factor in a shotgun, because shotguns don't have any range, except for this one. But anyways, let's do it. Alright, so without making this too boring, I'm just going to go off the build that I run with, which is the one with the most range. So as you guys can see, I'll give you guys a better depiction of how much range we actually have, just using a trip mine. But anyways, as you guys can see, no bullets, no bullets. This is about the range, the maximum range that you have, which is actually a lot, especially when I show you guys the actual distance behind with a trip mine. Bam, throw that down, look a little bit to the left, and you guys can see this is an absurd amount of actual distance, of actual range. But it's not, it does have drop off, but the drop off is, again, like, you have that much space and then nothing. But still, that is an absurd amount of distance that you can actually have. But again, there is a little bit of drop off. You end up doing, say, at max damage, you end up doing 1,000. At lesser damage, you end up doing half that, so like around 500, which is still good, because considering you have 4 bullets that hold 500 damage, pretty crazy. And on the topic of stability, I would recommend that you have a chunk of stability in there, just because if you do not, the bullets kind of, the spread is just uncontrollable. Even if you try to control the recoil, I find it still kind of goes berserk and doesn't really have a pattern. Where if you have a little chunk of stability, I find there's always 3 bullets that are always somewhat in the targeted reticle, and then there's the odd one out that's like just up in the corner doing its own thing. But anyways, yeah, I would suggest a little bit of stability. That's why I went with this build, just because the bullet pattern kind of matched what I wanted, because you're gonna kind of want to get as much crit hits as you possibly can, and that's how you're probably gonna do it, is with a little bit of stability. Alright guys, so one more little tidbit I want to add on to this is also how to make best use of this weapon if you are in love with it and you just want to be like, this is your gun, you've messed around with it, you played with it, or you just love the way it looks and you just want to do it that way. Anyway, a way to build around this weapon is probably by using gauntlets that have fast reload speed for secondary weapons, and also finding shoes that also offer extra ammo for weapons, because I did notice with this gun, the way it works and the way it fires, you are going to be shooting the shit out of a lot of stuff, so you're going to run out of ammo a fair bit. That's only if you're really milking using it though. But if you're like, if you have a healthy balance between your primary and your secondary, then you should have no problem at all. But me, I was putting this thing through the ringer and I really wanted to get a feel for it, so I just used this thing for like a solid day. So of course I ran out of ammo, so you guys will have to judge but based on your experience of that. But anyways, so yeah, you could also base off that. And this gun worked really good with my personal build, which is a jumper build, which is basically allows me just to jump indefinitely with Bones of Io, I think they're called, and it just went phenomenal. Because this thing, when you're in the air and you aim down sights, the recoil is not going to spread that significantly. At least that's what I noticed, because it is a shotgun, and shotguns don't tend to have that much of a weird recoil pattern when you're in the air. So I guess it does work really well with that if you do like to bounce around. Also, another thing this thing is used so well with is actually gunslingers, because gunslingers have this perk that's called I think it's called Gunslinger's Trance, and it actually allows you to stack stability based on precision kills, and you're able to easily get precision kills with this gun, and that just really takes care of the stability problem, because there is a massive stability problem in my personal opinion. But I just counter that with the again, the layout of the stability increase for the perks, because I don't need that much more ammo. It's not that long to reload either. So anyways, that's just my thoughts. But yeah guys, that's gonna go ahead and end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, again, closing thoughts on this gun: get it is worth getting. It looks phenomenal and it is just beyond beauty. And it's really effective. Is it good, better than a good PvE shotgun? Not really, in my opinion, because it does eat up an exotic slot, which is, I don't know, better held for like a Gallahorn or like an Icebreaker or something like that, or a Last Word or a Thorn or something like that. So again, it's a good gun, but I really want to say that it's like the best thing ever, because I heard that all over the place with the guides. It's a good gun, it's a solid gun, great, but it's not as good as like say a Dry Rot or a Hardluck. In PvE standpoint, I mean, there's already good shotguns for PvP though, but that's the whole thing. Anyways, nevertheless, it's a great shotgun. You should definitely get your hands on it and definitely mess around with it, because it's just a boatload of fun. But anyways, guys, this brings us to my end of my little weapon review. Hopefully, you guys like the new format, how I have segments-ish, you know, like lore, stats, and then just overall opinion. I would like to give you guys my opinion first though, because I realize that will kind of help you realize if you're wanting to get this gun, if you see someone who generally likes it a lot. And I put that at the beginning or the end of the video last time, and that just doesn't help anyone because it just doesn't make sense. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching as always. My name is Frost, and if you guys did find this video helpful and you enjoyed it, then maybe you guys want to see some of my other stuff, or if you already subscribed, then just never mind. That was for people that did not see. Also, if you're wondering, holy shit, you can talk fast, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know, it's happens when I get overwhelmed. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching as always. I am Frost, and later, guys. Update, basically it's the next update that's gonna be coming right before the Taken King. Now everyone's either really mad or really happy that these changes are happening. I would say 80% of the people are happy that these changes are happening. 20 or 10% are fucking furious, and then the other 10% is just kind of wondering why the changes were happening.